this is Olivia. I used to get a lot of people asking me, how do I make a portfolio to apply to CSM? And every time I would reply, well, it's not as simple as that. I don't know anything about you or your work. And this is kind of like meeting someone at a party, finding out they're a doctor, and you just stick your tongue out and ask, do you think I have cancer? Like, what are they supposed to do with that? But I do understand why you want to ask me this question. Like, CSM is indeed very different from most fashion schools, and it is super hard to get in. So you might think there is a secret and that I would know the secret. But when you're asking me how do I make a portfolio to apply to CSM, you are asking me the wrong question, and you also kind of being full of crap, because I know that's not really what you want to know. So I know what you really want to ask me is, how do I become a rich and famous fashion designer working with cool people and making really cool stuff? I heard that CSM places where I need to go to have all my potential extracted and showcased to the world. And my honest answer is, I don't know. Look at me. Do you think I'm Marc Jacobs? Do you think I stopped doing videos last year because I was recording something for masterclass? Nope. I talked a little bit about the delusion that drove me into pursuing CSM no matter what. And since it's an extremely intense school and traumatic even, and it's really super expensive, let's talk about how you can ask better questions that will guide your research so you can ultimately get what you want without wrecking your health and your finances. I know it's automatic to think, yeah, it's the best school, so of course it's probably really hard and it's really hard to get in, but then I'm good, I'm set for success. But maybe, but that's also a really naive way of thinking. And I get it, we have to decide our career and our future when you're like 17. So let's stop, break this down, and not be such a smarty pants about it, because it's just really two things. One, the school has the best alumni, the most famous alumni, and always the best graduates. How come? And two, wow, I heard it's really intense and that's really hard to get in. How do I prove that I've got what it takes? Number one is your opportunity to investigate what the courses are like what is it really about? What's the secret here? Let's check the graduate diploma webpage. I'm not going to use Fashionfolio as an example because they made some changes because of COVID and some other immigration issues, because Fashionfolio is still considered a short course, so you're not eligible for a tier 4 student visa. And I won't use the MA because I didn't do it, but a lot of the keywords of the MA and the graduate diploma are the same. Let's skim through the course overview. The graduate diploma in fashion is structured to support designers, equipping them to work in the international market. Offers fashion graduates or those from closely related disciplines the opportunity to take a fresh look at the work. The course will support your creative development with design, technical, and professional skills. Studies are project-based, allowing you to experiment and redefine yourself in a creative environment. Through its tutorial structure, the course emphasizes breadth and depth of research and an innovative approach to design. The curriculum will also introduce you to visual communication approaches, the articulation of design ideas, and the development of presentation skills. You will graduate with a portfolio and realized design work, which will support your progression into postgraduate study or entry into employment in the fashion industry. During your studies, you'll be guided by current practitioners in the field of fashion. This will allow you to benefit from the learning and teaching methods which have produced some of the world's leading fashion design professionals. This is good. A lot of the most artistic uni courses get stuck in a really stuffy academic vibe. Then the course units section says, the course begins with projects which support you in identifying and developing your design strengths. Jesus Christ. The course begins with projects which support you in identifying and developing your design strengths. You will develop your work in consultation with staff on an ongoing basis. This is what they call a tutorial. Yay! As you progress throughout the course, projects will be negotiated with course staff and become increasingly self-directed. This will give you the opportunity to demonstrate independent learning in the context of your final projects. Then we get to learning and teaching methods. During your course, you will engage with learning and teaching, so repetitive, that includes both online, okay, this is new, thanks again COVID, and face-to-face modes. Typically, this will include project work, briefing documents and meetings, learning through research, critiques, aka crits, presentations, demonstrations, peer learning, independent study, self-evaluation, and technical teaching and support, pattern cutting and garment construction. This was only on the graduate diploma page, not the MA, but you have some access to a pattern cutting tutor whenever you need to make a garment for a project. This doesn't mean that you have pattern cutting classes. Please note, while access restrictions are in place due to COVID, teaching will be a blend of in-college studio/workshop teaching, so not a classroom, and making, and online teaching and technical workshops. Some tutorials and seminars will be online, and others where your work needs to be handled and discussed will be face-to-face. Assessment methods: portfolio, projects, collection, self-evaluation, supporting research and development work. So from this description alone, I know it's hard to visualize what the course is going to be like, especially if you are expecting like a timetable that says, I don't know, pattern cutting classes on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. My simplified way to explain this weird salesy but still very academic description is studies on the course are project-based. You get a briefing telling you what your assignment is, and then you will develop your work in consultation with staff on an ongoing basis, aka tutorials. The course will support your creative development with design, technical, and professional skills, but you'll be the main person driving your progress as you experiment, so it's better not to come with any rigid, ready-made ideas of what you're about or what a fashion designer is supposed to do, because you will have the privilege to redefine yourself in CSM's creative environments. As you progress, projects will become increasingly self-directed, but here's the thing, everything will be pretty much self-directed from the get-go. Your tutor is not gonna give you homework that you need to go back home and do it and then bring it the next day to get a little stamp, which sounds a little bit too preschool, but that was the system at Boca. It's like, it's fine. Sometimes baby steps are the way to go. Towards the end of the course overview section, they do talk about portfolio. So yes, portfolios are very important for creative. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about it. So on to number 2. It's really hard to get in, and everyone is saying that is really intense, how do you prove you've got what it takes? Here's where I think your main concern shouldn't be how do I make a portfolio to apply to CSM. Once you get in, you gotta have what it takes to stay there and benefit from the course, since the courses are super intense. There's no classroom with a blackboard and with a textbook and your teacher giving you homework, and all your work self-directed. So the portfolio is where you tell the story of, given a set of instructions or a briefing, like how do you get the job done? So you have to show that you know how to do good research, you know how to use your research. You're not like a Pinterest designer that is just like getting a bunch of pictures and then copying, but not really copying, just watering down other people's designs. You have to prove that you can test and try your own ideas, and that these ideas are not random, they're connected to your research. You also have to prove that you can refine your ideas so you can create a final product, and you need to present this in a way that looks good and informs people that yes, you know what you're doing. My other point with this whole video is you shouldn't obsess with doing a portfolio like it's the end of the line, because you are not going for a career as a portfolio maker. I think you're going for a career as a designer. And at your job, you won't be making portfolios. You'll be working really, really hard to create clothes and accessories that will sell at really phenomenal prices for people that don't really care about portfolios and creative process. They're buying for emotional reasons. They're buying into the brand. They're buying the fantasy. To use my own example, as I always do, I was very obsessed with creating very pretty portfolios because that's what my teacher's pet personality told me to do. Like, I didn't fully understand what they were for. And of course, I was successful during Fashion Folio because it was a course to produce a portfolio. But once I got into the graduate diploma, I made my life really, really hard because I was always thinking about, okay, but in the end, I need to present this very pretty portfolio. And then I was stressing out about choosing the best paper or making very elaborate collages for every page. That's not the point. That's not really the most important thing when you have 3 or 4 weeks for every project. And also, I didn't need to be so obsessed with the fashion folio way anymore, because the whole point of getting into the graduate diploma is that I would get to that higher level. Otherwise, I wouldn't even need to be in school anymore. I could just look for a job as a professional portfolio maker for CSM application. Hope my video gave you a little bit of clarity. I think the best thing this year would be to produce some videos with like very practical instructions on like how to do research and then how to do design development. So I got my work cut out for me. Not saying it's gonna be very easy, and I'm also very slow to produce new videos. After the last one, I realized that maybe this is sort of a cathartic thing for me as I process and experience that, yes, definitely gave me something good, but also a lot of trauma without giving me the payoff that I was expecting. So if you like my content, if you like my approach, check out my testimonials and get a mentorship session with me. And we'll see what's the best plan for you. Because sometimes it's not just, work harder and hustle. Like sometimes we need baby steps. And ooh, that's full circle. That's my cue. I'm gonna end here, but I'll leave some suggestions that I ended up editing out of this video in the description. So I'll see you next time. Bye. This never happens.